In today's video, I'm going to share with you a step-by-step guide as to how I passed the CFA Level 1, Level 2 and Level 3 exams all in my first attempt. By the end of this video, you'll learn about all the things that helped me during my preparation as well as a few of the areas that I struggled with. The next 15 minutes are going to be packed with important details, and here's my sincere advice to you. Save this video so that you can come again in the future and watch this guide once more in case you forget any of the points. And without any further delay, let's get right into it. So for those of you who are curious, the CFA program is a 3-part exam for people who work or aspire to work in the investment management industry. It is designed to equip you with the right real-world skills in investment analysis that will help you advance your career. Being a CFA charter holder is an amazing accomplishment. It comes with a lot of hard work, and CFA charter holders are the gold standard when it comes to the field of investment management. Each of the 3 levels of the CFA program are designed to test and challenge you in a different way. But the way to approach them is the same across all 3 levels, just with minor changes as you go along. I completed my CFA Level 1 and Level 2 exams back in February 2022 and November 2022. I could have technically done my CFA Level 3 exams in August 2023, but I didn't do so because my professional workload had increased at that time. And so I attempted and completed my CFA Level 3 in Feb of 2024. So what did I do right during my CFA journey, and what are the areas that I know I can improve in? Let's talk about the things that I did correctly first. I said this before, and again this video is another reminder that I'm going to say it again. Number 1, time commitment. I was going through my Excel tracker recently and I realized how much time I had actually invested into the CFA program. For the Level 1 exam, I had studied close to 600 hours. For the Level 2 exam, I studied close to 480 hours, and I studied 370 hours for the Level 3 exam. Did I really need to put in so much effort? I've actually thought about this a couple of times, and every time my answer is a resounding yes. This is how I think about it. You are not in control of most of the variables when it comes to the exam. The exam center could be noisy, the AC might not be working well, you might be sick on the day of the exam, and you might not be able to give your best performance. None of this will ever be in your hands. What can you do about it if you didn't get good enough sleep the night before your exam? So the question is, what can you control? You can control one thing, and that's the energy that you put into your preparation. So like I said, right, I studied for more than 1,400 hours across 3 levels of the exam. At this point, if you think that there was something easy to do, let me tell you, I'm not some incredible stoic character who was able to pull this off without breaking a sweat. In fact, it took a lot of very demanding self-discipline to complete all 3 levels. And in times where self-discipline didn't work, the anxious parts of my brain would kick in and I would resort to a different tactic. I would force myself to imagine a world where I would have failed one of these levels, and I would think about how I would feel if I had failed one of these levels. Just that fear of failure was that kick in the backside that I needed that pushed me to give at least an extra 50 hours for each individual level. There are a lot of people out there, really smart people, who can pass the CFA exam with just a few weeks of preparation. And I'm not saying that you might not be one of them. But what I'm trying to say is that you should also be aware of the fact that there are several hundreds of thousands of people who do not pass the CFA exam each and every single year. It's just that if somebody puts in less hours and they pass the exam, they'll be sure to make sure you hear of their success stories. There is this wonderful quote that I keep finding myself coming back to. Success has many fathers, but failure has none. You never hear about the stories of people who studied for 100 hours, 150 hours and fail the CFA exams because they won't publicize themselves. Control the variables that you can. The second thing that I did correctly was that I practiced something that I'd like to call negative answering. So what is that? Let me try and explain with an example. There may be a question that comes up in the exam where you're not sure of what the answer is. But since you have 3 options in an MCQ paper, you might be sure that one of the options that you see is definitely not the right answer. So let's just say a question comes up in the exam and you're given 3 different portfolios: a laddered portfolio, a barbell portfolio, and a bullet portfolio. And you're asked to find out which portfolio has the maximum amount of dispersion. Let's just say you have a very basic understanding of the topic area and you're not sure which answer to pick. But by using simple reasoning, you can eliminate at least one of the options. You know that a bullet portfolio has the least amount of convexity and thereby has the least amount of dispersion. So now you have to choose your answer between a barbell portfolio and a laddered portfolio. So by using the process of elimination, you have increased the chances that you may get an answer right. especially in questions that you're not sure of what the answer may be. You've used your thinking brain to eliminate an option that you know just doesn't fit in. I would say the negative answering is something that you should do even if you do know the right answer. The CFA exam expects you to explain why the answer you have chosen is right, as well as know at the back of your head why the option that you haven't chosen are wrong. This is a very important skill that you will need for your level 3 exams, and practicing this from day one in level 1 is a great way to ensure that level 3 is an easier paper. The third and probably the most weirdest of all the tips I have to share with you, to pass the level 1, level 2 and level 3 exams, I would say that you need to study for 3 hours every single day for at least 5 to 6 months. We as humans are inherently optimistic. We study one Saturday, spend the whole day studying, maybe get 8 or 9 hours studying. But how do you know if you're averaging 3 hours a day for 5 or 6 months and ensuring that you're putting in the right amount of prep into these exams? By tracking it, of course. Maintaining a simple Excel sheet where every single day after a long day's work you log in the hours you put in can be a great way of staying on track and ensuring you completed the required number of hours for your CFA prep. In fact, if you guys would like, I've attached the Excel tracker that I use for my level 1, level 2 and level 3 down in the description below. It's a very simple tracker and all you have to do is update it on a daily basis. Okay, so I've talked about the 3 areas that I know have definitely helped me during my CFA study phase. What are some of the areas that I could have focused in where I think I could have got a higher ROI instead of the way I approached it? I have 3 main thoughts about this. The first thing is mock exams. I would always study for mock exams maybe 10 days or maybe 1 week before my CFA exams. And to be honest, that was not a good decision. As you come to the end of your CFA preparation, if you avoid mocks and just keep on revising, you'll think that you're studying a lot. But in fact, the syllabus is so vast that half of the things you're revising, you tend to forget. Mocks are the only way of solidifying all of the content that you've gone across. And by doing multiple mock exams, you know of the areas where you're strong in, as well as areas you need to improve in. So every time I finish solving a mock exam, I'd know of the areas that I'm strong in, as well as the areas that I'm really weak in. And I'd go and revise those weak chapters once more, and then that knowledge would be cemented in my brain, and I would never need to read that topic area again. Solving multiple mock exams helps you plug different gaps in your preparation, and it really builds up a feeling of self-confidence as you see your average score keep going up. I would strongly suggest that instead of waiting till the last minute to do your mock exams, you should start attending them at least 2 weeks before your exam day. The second tip, and a lot of students have asked me about this over the life period of this YouTube channel, I would strongly suggest that you go and you sign up for a coaching class. Now, this is a little controversial. This is a personal opinion. For level 2 and level 3, I use Mark Meldrum and Fintree. I didn't really use coaching for level 1, but for level 2 and level 3, I use Fintree. I didn't really sign up for a coaching class for level 1 because I wanted to do it on my own. But for level 2 and level 3, I did utilize a coach. But if I had to do it ever again, I wouldn't change the way I approached it. I would still sign up for coaching. Now, before I tell you why, let me first disclaim that I strongly believe that being able to pay for coaching is a privilege, and by virtue of having a job that supported my CFA preparation, I was able to pay for coaching relatively easily. These are my thoughts as to why you should take a coaching class. Each level of the CFA exam will cost you on average $1,100. If you're registering for CFA level 1 for the first time, it's even more expensive. That investment on its own is quite a massive payment, especially for candidates coming out of countries like India. Putting any kind of other investment into your studies on top of this registration charge can actually be quite scary. So you decide to start studying on your own, and maybe the difficulty level is up to what you expected. But in my case, the difficulty levels were above what I was prepared for. So what do you do when the syllabus is harder than what you expected? You'll be left with 2 options. You'll either continue to study on your own, or you will have to take up coaching. If, for example, in my case, you end up paying for coaching 1 month before the exam, it's not like I benefited. I haven't saved any money. In fact, I won't be able to utilize the full value of what the prep provider could have given me. Maybe I sign up for coaching a little too late and there's a good chance I failed the exam. On the other hand, let's just say I decide to study on my own. I'll need to put in a lot more time studying and I'll not feel as confident as I would. If things worked out, then congrats. You can just move on to the next level and you've saved a ton of money. But what if things don't work out? In the quest of saving around $500, that's how much most coaching classes do charge, you will end up having to attempt the CFA exam once more, investing $1,000. Not only that, but you'll have to commit another 5 months to studying for whichever level of the CFA exam you failed. In trying to save $500, you've now had to spend 1,000 plus another 5 months of work. I know that spending money is an emotional decision, and for everyone, you might have your pros and cons towards thinking of it. But it would be wrong for me to not share this personal opinion of mine. I know a lot of people will disagree on me on this. If you had to ask me for my unfiltered opinion, you would need some kind of help in preparing for the CFA exams, especially level 2 and level 3. So now on a brighter note, this is the final tip. Around a year ago, I had made a video where I'd broken down every single thing that I did to pass the CFA level 1 exams. I talked about the right mindset, what chapters that you have to focus in especially hard, and the right way to study for the exam. It is so detailed that I even broke down what you have to do 30 days before your exam as well as 10 days before your CFA exam. If I had to do CFA level 1 again and I had at least 4 to 6 months to prepare for the exam, this is the video that I would watch to start off my entire prep. So the final tip that I have for this video is me recommending you go check out this older video of mine on how I passed the CFA level 1 exams with a 90th percentile score. As always, thanks for watching, dear friends. And until we meet again, this is Filter Coffee Finance signing off.